Well, I want to first thank all of you for attending this webinar today. Hopefully it'll be impacting, give you some skill levels that you need to know, how to handle some objections and how to prospect. But first I want to thank Ron Sika. He's the one that put this all together. And I met him through an email. He emailed me this flyer and it caught my attention because, somebody needs to mute themselves. Okay, see if I can mute everybody here. Mute everybody. But anyway. And he sent me this email. It caught my attention because I think everybody on this call would agree that things have changed. Everybody would have to agree with me on that. And the days of just being able to drive a car and open a lockbox and you could sell a ton of real estate, those days are changing. If you agree, raise your hand on the webinar because I'm going to ask you a couple of questions, okay? Because I know things are changing. And Ron had this program, it was a buy down program. So I want to introduce Ron Sika. So Ron, can you share with us a little bit of how long you've been doing this?
Sure. Thank you, Ed, for having me on. And hello to those that know me and to my old friends and new friends. Hi, Lisa. So I started in the mortgage business back in 1981. And back then, interest rates were so very high. It was hyperinflation like we're seeing now, just during the Reagan years. And interest rates were, I started when the rates were 10%, and then they crept up to like 15, 16%. And it just put a damper on the real estate market, obviously, it's like credit card rates. And these crazy programs had come out. The adjustable rate mortgages were born at that time. The negative amortization mortgages were born, and the buy down mortgages were born. So when the rates started going up as quickly as they've been going up, and will continue to go up, in my opinion, it dawned on me that why not resurrect the buy down mortgage? So we did. We're doing the temporary buy down mortgage. It's not very expensive, but it's an inducement to buyers to buy. And if rates come down, they can always refinance because it is a fixed rate mortgage. And if rates go up, they can pat themselves on the back and say, I'm glad I did it now instead of waiting until the next rate hike. So it's actually created our own market bubble. And we've got other mortgages to speak of as well, but that's the one that I sent to Ed, and Ed, that caught Ed's attention, and here I am today.
Oh, and thank you, Ron. Today, the key is being able to qualify that buyer. People are still buying homes. In the state of Florida, last month alone, there were over 35,000 homes sold. So someone's buying homes. I just sold one several weeks ago, right down the street from your listing, John, in Hidden Lakes. Okay, I sold that, and I'll talk about that a little later on. But John's going to be making this journey with us, because today I'm going to talk about making a journey, a 6-week journey, and he'll be on the call with us every week, answering your question about mortgage rates. But let me tell you a little bit about me, because some of you know me, some of you don't know me. I began my real estate career at a young age, and that's when I was born. Okay. When I grew up, we didn't have a lot of money, so I had to hustle. But I bet you if I asked you on the phone here today, how many of you at the age of 4 or 6 went to your parents and said, when I grow up, I'm going to be a real estate agent? None of you did. You just stumbled into business like I did. I went to college when I was 18, and I was asked to leave when I was 18, so that was kind of short-lived. So I went in the Navy. I was in the Navy for 4 years, 1 month, and a day. I protected you in every bar in Europe. Okay, so you were safe with me. And then I was a surgical assistant. So I used to hand instruments to doctors. And one day I went back to college. I almost graduated. And I'm doing an operation. You have no idea what goes on in the operating room when they put that anesthesia on. You have no idea. And we're taking this lady's gallbladder out. Dr. Weekly is asking me, what are you going to do when you graduate college? I said, I want to go to graduate school. And he said, well, I own a real estate company. You could work part-time in real estate and make $15,000 a year. I said, you're kidding me. I've never done that. He said, you could do it selling real estate. So I got my license. The first thing I realized in the state of Florida, because a lot of you are from Florida here, the first thing I realized is that everybody in the state of Florida had a real estate license. That was the first thing I realized, okay? But very few of them knew what they were doing. So I went out and he showed me how to write. I went to a training session and the instructor showed me how to write a business plan based on listings. And I was so young, I was 24 years old. I was so young, I believed the guy. And I'm going out and getting my 4 and 6 listings a month. But when it came time at the end of the year to get awards, very few of them came up on the stage with me. So what's the message? Talk is cheap in the real estate business. So I've been in sales all my life. I've sold pot holders. I've sold Coke bottles with coquino shells to tourists from up north. I'm not proud of this, but in high school, I sold fake IDs with a high profit margin. I mean, real high profit margin. I've sold ice. I've sold just about everything. That's what I've done all my life is sales. That's the only thing I know. Today, I'm going to show you some skill builders that's going to help you dramatically increase your business now. I started my real estate career in 1977. Some of you weren't even born. Okay, you know you're getting old is when you drive down the highway and you see a silver alert and it's your car. That's when you know you're getting old, okay? But I got into real estate. I used to own 4 offices. There were Century 21 offices. I used to own 4 Century 21 offices. I sold franchises. I sold that for 3 years. And then I ran into a gentleman by the name of Floyd Wickman. Some of you might know who he is. Floyd was the #1 speaker in the real estate industry at that time. And he had this program called Sweat Hogs. I know John's been involved in Sweat Hogs, and maybe a couple of other you have been involved in Sweat Hogs too. And he told me, do you think we can make this a business? I said, I don't know. Well, 130,000 people later, we made it into a business. So I've trained a lot of people. Some of you on this call were some of my students as well. I originated loans. I originated loans for several years, okay? I co-founded the Sweat Hog program. I personally have trained and coached over 13,500 people. So some of you might be asking, how does Ed know? Well, I know. Will today help you? I don't know. It all depends if you open your mind up and you would entertain new techniques in skill building, because the market has definitely changed. I think all of you would agree that the market has changed. Well, anyone can navigate a boat in calm waters. It's when they become rough. How do you navigate it? And that's what we're going through right now. Now, today's objectives is #1, having the right attitude in a challenging environment. There's a lot of negativity going in the news. People aren't buying houses. Well, that's not true. You know, interest rates are high. Yeah, they're higher than they were at the beginning of the year, but people are still buying houses. With Ron's help, we'll be able to show you how to manipulate through this mortgage application. That's going to be the key, is getting them qualified. Also, how do you generate more leads? That's probably everyone on this call's biggest problem, is generating more leads. Because the more leads you can generate, the more opportunity you have to get listings and sales. Also, dialogue that works. And I'm going to give you some dialogue today to help you get into the door with for sale by owners. I just recently got in one last week, and I'll explain to you a little bit how I did that. Handling objections. You know, if you get hit with an objection, you got to change the way they feel. If you can't change the way they feel, they're not going to take action. Also, how to run your business like a business. This is a time of year where everyone on this call needs to write a business plan, because you have to be able to give a blueprint for what you're going to do. So if someone says you're going to have a great year, Ileana, yes, and here's how I'm going to do it. You got to explain to people. If you can't explain to somebody, how are you going to do it? And then also how to generate 2 additional transactions in 6 weeks. If you do what I ask of you to do, you'll be able to generate 2 additional transactions within the next 6 weeks. How many would be receptive to something like that? Raise your hand. Let me see. Raise your hand. Okay, I got Okay, let's see here. Okay, John raised his hand. Okay, Ileana raised her hand. Okay, okay. All right, so I think I am unanimous there. Okay, Matt Brooks, I mean, you got like 3 or 4 raise your hands. Like 4 or 5 of you raised your hands. Okay, so I'm going to hit a nerve here. Also, the journey, because that's what I'm going to talk about today, taking you on a journey. Oh, Bertha just raised her hand too. All right, thanks, Bertha. Okay. Now, common concerns agents have in today's market. I've been doing this a long time. I mean, a long time. Some of the concerns are getting more listings. What's the solution to that? Well, it's your CRM and platforms that work. You know, I'm Easy Sell Ed. I buy all the junk you see that comes across your feeds. You know, this is going to work, this is going to work, this is going to work, this is going to work. Well, majority of them don't. And I'm sure that you are the people that are watching me today and listening to me, you probably bought platforms that didn't work either. Like I had Arsenal MKG, I had Move Up, Slide Over, you know, all these different platforms. And I'm going to give you the solution to this. Having the skills to excel. Now, I'm going to really drill this in today because in order to have the right skills, you have to practice, drill, rehearse. I have a coaching student, Mark Sobolowski. He's in New York. He's already closed $421,000 this year. He's been with me for 5 years. And today at 4:30, he and I are going to work on his telephone technique to be able to generate more residential properties in the New York area. We're going to practice this. We've practiced this so many times. What's the difference between a golfer that wins and doesn't? It's just a few strokes. What's the difference? It's they're practicing. You've got to practice, drill, rehearse, practice, drill, rehearse, practice, drill, rehearse. Generating more leads. They're all around you. You know, you can't be a secret agent today. You got to let everyone know that you sell real estate. Also, time management. You know, that's probably, how many of you know somebody that struggles with time management? Raise your hand. And they're not on this phone call right now. Everybody struggles with time management. There are 168 hours in a week. Nobody on this call has any more, any less than anybody else. It's what you do with it. That's always cracks me up when you hear people say, well, she has more time than I have. How can that be? It can't be. We all have the same amount of it. It's what we do with it. And those of you that take this journey with us, I'm going to make you really aware of your time. Really aware of your time, okay? Social media marketing. Let the public know who you are. John, that home that I just sold in it was Hidden Lakes. It was a 55 and over community right down the street from me. And he was a Russian guy. And he called me up on a Saturday. I said, how'd you get my number? Oh, he's Russian. I don't know. I just see online, I call you. I said, oh, okay. So I started qualifying. He found out he moved from California. He was living in a hotel. So I met with him on Saturday. I showed him several properties on Sunday. We wrote an offer for $370 cash. We closed it within a week. That's because of my social media exposure. Today, you have to pick, and you have to pick a lead here. You have to pick a lead here. You have to pick a lead here. You have to pick a lead here in order to survive. And that's what I'm proposing to you all today. How do you survive in a recession? You have to have the right attitude. I think it all starts here. Years ago, I met a gentleman, Dr. Al Scalfel. He was a brilliant man. Unfortunately, he passed away. But I asked him one day, Dr. Al, what's the secret to selling? He said, without even hesitation, he said, it's attitude, Eddie. It's attitude. Your mind's like a muscle. You got to massage it every day. I said, he's right. So today, I want to cover these 4 things. Attitude, systems. I'm a systems fanatic. The more you can systemize, the less work you're going to do. handling objections, and also business planning. So if you're taking notes, I'm going to start with attitude first. I have a sister. Today's her 76th birthday. And around 50 years ago, she was in an auto accident and broke her neck. At the time, I was getting ready to leave to go to Sicily in the Navy. And she was in the hospital with these crutch thongs in her skull. There are these screws they screw in your skull for traction. Her arms were out there. They told her she would never move her arms or legs again. I said, honey, this is going to be a long, hard road. Don't let them tell you any differently. She looked at me and she said, I'll pick you up at the airport when you come home. And she did. Hand controls. If you ever ask my sister today, will you ever walk? The answer is yes, because she has the right attitude. Now, I think it's imperative you set high standards for yourself. Number one, become a dreamer versus a fantasizer. This is a time of year where everyone's going to start working on their business plans. What's the difference between a dreamer and a fantasizer? A dreamer can see the goal, they can smell it, they can touch it, and they envision themselves in it. That's a dream. A fantasy, and I'm sure Ron, you and Alex have seen many of these people that are fantasizers. And that's when they can see the goal, they can smell it, they can touch it, but they can't envision themselves in it.
A magical place.
That's a fantasy. So you've got to become a dreamer. There's some of you people on this call that made over $100,000 last year. You are what I call dreamers. Number two are goals. This is probably the most misconstrued concept in sales. This is a time of year, Bertha, that all the brokers call you in the office. Come in the office and close the door. What do you want? What's your goal for 2023? See, last year I did $3 million, $5 million. That's not a goal. A goal is getting everything that you want. We are on commission business. We can make as much or as little as we feel we deserve. And that's the key word right there. You know, I've made millions. I've lost millions. The only thing that ever saved me was my ability to sell. And selling is an art. It's not the gift of gab. Selling is a true art. Very few people ever master this thing called sales. A goal has got to be specific, attainable, and something that you want. Like having better self-image is not a goal. Why? Because it's not measurable. The goal's got to be measurable. Like doing 3 things a week that make me feel better. That's a goal. And those of you that make the journey with me, we're going to work together in formulating your goals. I'm an accountability fanatic because I'm going to put you on an accountability system to ensure your success. I'm not going to let you fail. I'm not going to let you fail. And then commitment. How do you make a commitment? You tell everybody. You tell everybody what your goal is. You know, why don't people tell other people what their goals are? Because they're afraid they'll have to live up to them. So setting high standards, become a dreamer versus a fantasizer. A goal that's specific, attainable, and something that you want. Do you think your peers want you to get your goals? No. Look at Sandra. She's got a new Mercedes, and then people lie. I didn't want one anyway. And then they'll lie even more. It drives just like my Taurus. No, it don't. It doesn't even come close. Now, systems. I'm going to spend some time on this. You have to have a system for prospecting, especially in this market, if you're going to survive. It's got to be a planned event. I have a coaching student, Raphael Khan. He was in my last journey program I did. You know, he prospects 3 days a week. He generates anywhere from 1 to 2 appointments a week. He's got the same amount of time that you do. What's the difference? He's got a system to prospecting. Number 2 is generating leads. Today I'm going to drill this home to a CRM. A lot of people on this call say, well, I have a CRM. It's in my phone. That's not a CRM. You know, you have to be able to sort and filter your CRM and be able to communicate with them with a click of a button. Why? To generate more leads. Appointments that are real. Appointments are really scarce today. I think all of you would agree with me on that. Appointments are scarce, especially people that want to sell. That's scarce. And that's the ones you have to find. You have to find, Bertha keeps raising her hand, God bless you. You have to find people that want to sell and need to sell. You got to find buyers that want to buy and get them qualified to buy. That's the key. Number 3, presentation that crystallize their thinking. You know, I believe in systems. You know, not too long ago, it was in Oldsbar. I sold a house and I got the listing on that house and I sold it. And I asked the guy, I said, why would you, because I was competing against a lot of other people. I said, why did you pick me? He said, because you're the only one that showed me how this was going to work.
Yeah. I need to.
Okay, well, whoever's talking.
We got a CRM, we do Buffini. So I know, it's like.
Is that John?
I agree.
Is that John talking?
No, sir, it's not me, Ed.
Okay, well, someone said they have Buffini's program. Whichever CRM you have, what's the best CRM to use? The one that you'll use. I use Lion's Desk. Why Lion's Desk? Because it's simple, it's affordable, you can filter it, you can do mass emails, you can send videos. There's so many things you can do with it. It's very, very inexpensive as well. And then your CRM has got to be filtered. You know, I'm talking again about Mark Sobolewski. When we first hooked up, he had 2,000 people in his iPhone. It took him quite some time for him to get those out of there and put it into his CRM. He uses KV Core, Barry. And the benefit that he had with doing that is just expanded his business like 5-fold. In today's market, you have to squeeze every appointment out that you can, every lead. Here we got people coming on here. Okay, those of you that just came on, we just completed the time management session. Okay, so you got to become like a wolf.
Yeah, you're right.
A wolf wakes up every day and they look for food. And that's what we have to do. We have to wake up every day and look for food, look for leads. Okay. Now, systems for prospecting. I think if you're taking notes, but I would definitely take notes here.
We're going to
Your CRM. I'm going to give you some techniques. And bear with me for a second because we're recording this. I hate to do this, but you have to bear with me. Okay. I'll just let everyone's muted. The CRM has got to be filtered. You make this journey with me and I'll show you how to do this. I have an assistant, Jessica Gear, she'll be involved in this. And she'll help you with filtering the CRM. Okay. Your sphere of influence. I'm going to give you some dialogue in a few minutes to help squeeze leads out from your CRM, from your sphere of influence. Everyone on here in this phone, on this call today has people that they know. Well, the days of just laying back and waiting for business to fall into your lap or having multiple offers, those days are coming to a halt. RedX. I like using RedX. A lot of my coaching students use RedX. Why? Well, first of all, it tells you all the for sale by owners. And Lisa, I just got a listing. It's going live next week in St. Petersburg. And this guy, I call him up. And he goes, I'm not listing with a realtor. Well, that's what you're going to hear all the time. And I kept following up with this guy and following up and following up. And I finally got the appointment. I live in a place called Cobb's Landing. The average age here is death. Okay, there's a lot of people that live here at Cobb's Landing. You know, I sold David Pavlik's rental home. Then I sold his brother's home. Then I sold David's home in Cobb's Landing. Then I sold his brother a home. Now I'm getting ready to list his other brother's home for $850, all from one Red X lead. But the key to Red X is follow-up. Don't go out and buy Red X today, because when we make this journey, I'll show you how to use this. Because the key factor for Red X, it has a callback feature. And by clicking that callback feature, it sends you an email to remind you to call them. So Charlie, what that does for you, because a lot of times, not like you, Charlie, but a lot of people, agents, they forget to call. And then they lose the lead. We're in the kind of market right now, gang, you can't afford to lose a lead. You just can't afford it. You know? I'm going on another appointment this week with a lady that lives in Patty Acres. And I got that from Red X. So everything I'm talking to you about today is from the street. There's some seminars I know you've attended where you know, the person that's doing the seminar probably hasn't given a listing presentation in 25 years. I just gave one last week. So I'm the real deal here. PropStream. Now, some of you are wholesale buyers. PropStream is a great platform. They have a free trial version on it too. So you could type in a zip code. It'll tell you all the foreclosures, all the vacant houses, all the homes that have liens against them. You know, I called the lady last year, Ola. And, you know, I told her, I said, I was going to the public records and I couldn't help but notice, maybe you're not even aware of it. I said, there's a lien on your property. You got to do it with the right voice inflection. She said, you're kidding me. I said, no. Well, I got that listing too. Okay. Social media. If you're not boosting your listings, if you're not boosting whatever you're posting, you're missing the boat. There are three main platforms today. There's Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. Like this listing that's going to go live next week, we're going to shoot it, the pictures of it, then we're going to create a video for it and put it up on YouTube. I just sold a home, John, in Newport Richey, Florida. I didn't think it would ever sell, on Flora Avenue. It was on the water. It was on the Anclote River. And we created a YouTube video. I had over 200 views on that video. A Vietnamese couple came and they fell in love with the water and they bought it. I was shocked, to be quite honest with you, but there's a buyer for every home. Here are some free agent referral platforms if you're looking to harvest buyers. A Realty Exchange, HomeLight, Fast Expert, and Ojo. I see Barry's taking a picture of it. You're the new generation, Barry. Barry says, I'm not writing this down, I'm taking a picture of it. I got your number, Barry. Okay, I got your number. And then Ojo. These are some free, now they charge you a 25%, some of 30% referral on it. But listen, if I gave you a lead, would you give me a 30% referral? Absolutely. The key is making sure that that buyer is qualified, and that's where Ron comes in. The guy's got a gazillion years of experience. He's weathered the storm. You know, I sold real estates when they were 18% too. People were still buying houses, not as many, but they bought. You know, interest rates today, they're not what they were at the first of the year, but people are starting getting acclimated to it. And when we make this journey, I'm going to show you a graph, because if you think about it, because prices of homes are coming down, they're not going up. Every day I get an email of a price reduction, every day. So if someone can buy a home at a lower value, even at a higher interest rate, when we come out of this, we'll never stay in this market like this. It never happened. And like Ron said, you can always refinance it. The difference between what you're going to pay in interest rates compared to what you're going to gain in the appreciation of the property offsets that interest rate. But you got to be able to change the way they think when you're working with a buyer. Now, what do you say what do you say and when do you say it? This is the key. Those of you that are taking the Sweat Hawk program before, you know that we use a prospecting track. I would never improvise a phone call. Never. Why? It takes too much energy.
Any updates on Miss Gibbons' purchase? Question mark.
Who is this person? Okay, I think I got everybody off. But identify them. Introduce yourself. Ask an informative question. Reason for calling. Then ask another informative question. It's a system. We never want to wing it. Those of you that make the journey, we're going to practice this. Also, one of the things that I'm going to offer you is that every week we're going to meet individually. I'm all in on this. I believe, I'm not going to get religious on anybody, but I believe that God gave me a certain gene. And this is my calling. And I'm at an age where I want to leave footprints. And those of you that make the journey, Martha, are going to be part of my footprints. Now, there's 4 things you need to do when you call somebody. Now, let me tell you something else. Don't sound like a salesman. You want to turn somebody off that you're calling, sound like a salesman, and they'll hang the phone up on you. Lisa, I'm telling you right now, you've got to be able to engage these people. The first part of engagement is determining if the home is for sale. That's number 1. Number 2, ask them if they're cooperating with brokers, because if they're not cooperating with brokers, don't even bother. You always get those people from New York, I'm going to sell it on my own. I don't need a realtor. You know, I love New York. Don't get me wrong. My daughter just graduated from NYU. Thank God. I still pay for her apartment in Manhattan. So, and she's 22 years old. I asked her the other day, you get a job, honey? Don't be rude, Dad. Don't be rude. Oh my God, what do you mean being rude? Why are they selling? This is probably one of the key factors in making this phone call. Is why are they selling the house? You're the solution, Barry. And number 4, determining some sort of a fair trade to get in the door. You got to get in the door. You know, you could make all the calls you want, but if you can't get in the door, it doesn't do you any good. And I think you all would raise your hand on that one. You got to get in the door. And then you got to find the problem, and then you offer the solution. John Frykowski raised his hand. Okay, John, thank you. Okay. Now, I'm going to give you this script. But once again, you have to sound natural. And I've made a gazillion phone calls. A gazillion. And so the first thing I want to do is put them at ease. I want to loosen them up a little bit. So, hello, Bob. Yeah. Hey, this is Ed Escobar with ABC Realty. I bet you I'm the millionth realtor that's called you, aren't I? They all agree. Yes, you sure are. You can feel the tension on the phone. Well, please don't hold it against me, okay? I was calling to see if your property is still available. Now, I like to use RedX. And on RedX, it has a little Zillow icon. So I click the Zillow icon before I call, and I can tell how many days they've been on the market, how many views they had, and how many clicks they've had. Like this listing I picked up in St. Petersburg, John. I looked at Zillow, it'd been on the market for 28 days. He had around 500 views and around 15 saves. I knew he was in trouble. So Cindy, I gave the guy a call, okay? I gave the guy a call. And they always ask you, you know, like I was calling to see if you're cooperating with brokers. Hopefully your home's still available. Hopefully for your sake, it's not. What realtors called someone and said, I hope your home's sold? Nobody. Okay, no, not yet. Do you have a buyer? That's what they all say. Do you have a buyer? Well, as a matter of fact, I might. All of us on this phone have a database of buyers. All of us do. I use Ylopo. Ylopo syncs in with my RedX, I mean, my Lions Desk. Okay, I've used Sync in the past. A lot of these platforms are lead generating platforms. As a matter of fact, I was calling to see if you're cooperating with brokers. Oh, yeah, I'm paying 2%, 1%. It doesn't matter what they say. Your job is to get in the door. Well, that sounds fair. Or you get that person from New York or New Jersey. No, I'm selling it on my own. Now, I learned this from Rick Hayden, John. Would you be offended? Would you be offended if I were to sell it? No, but I'm only paying 2%. Oh, okay. All right, all right. Well, now you know that they're going to cooperate with you as a broker. Okay, you're starting to engage them. You go to the next level of engagement. Well, let me ask you this. I'm looking at your home right now on Zillow and it really looks nice. Are you sure you want to sell it? That freaks them right out. Yeah, you try and talk me out of it? No. Now, this has got to be crucial, guys. No, just out of curiosity, why are you selling your home? Now, if you just say, why are you selling your home? They're going to tell you something that I can't repeat on this phone. But if you say, no, just out of curiosity, why are you selling your home? Are you moving out of state or something? It's like verbal diarrhea. They tell you everything. The more information you can gain, the chances soar you're going to get disappointment. Okay, I'm hearing what you're saying. Would you be offended if I were to come over and take a peek of the home inside? It'd just take me a few seconds. You got to get in the door. I'm not going to list with a realtor. That's what the guy in St. Petersburg told me. He says, I'm not listing with a realtor. I understand. I said, but if I can help you sell it on your own, would you be upset with me? Well, why in the world would you do something like that? Oops, hang on a second, guys. Well, I'm just thinking, if I can help you out now, and if for some reason it didn't sell, at least I have my hat in the ring. That makes sense, doesn't it? This is a logical flow. It's very personable. It's very natural. Now, I can assure you, you make enough calls for sell by owners. Well, and everyone's calling for sell by owners. I think in the Pinellas County area, there must be, I don't know, 18 or 20,000 agents. So maybe for sell by owner gets called by 18,000. No. Probably 5,000. No. Probably 600. No, probably maybe 3. Because everyone has a huge fear of calling them. Now, if you told me you enjoyed prospecting, I would tell you that you need therapy because it's not natural. Okay. You have to offer a fair trade. You have to get something in the door. Now, I believe that a for sale by owner is what I call a conscious incompetent. They don't know, an unconscious incompetent. They don't know that they don't know what they're doing. Your job is to make them a conscious incompetent where they know that they don't know what they're doing. Well, you might want to offer this. This is called the security checklist. Okay. Victor just came on. Okay. Now, this is designed to change the way they feel about listing. This was made up in New York. Will your home be available for showing during the day? If yes, who will show it? Are there certain hours which you would like the home to be shown? Will pets be restrained? Ooh, might be a lawsuit there. Will anyone other than yourself be allowed to show the home? Will your spouse, or you do this with the big mono guy, will your wife be showing the home alone? If weapons are in the home, are they secured? Should you be suspicious if a prospective buyer views your home more than once? They might be casing it out. Do you keep large amounts of cash at home? If so, where? No, that's not on there. That's not on there, okay. But you got to offer some sort of a fair trade. You got to give them something of value, okay. And I hope I'm making sense so far. I think I am. So we talked about attitude. We talked about systems for prospecting, different platforms. I'm giving you the script on what to say with these for sale by owners. I think the acres of diamonds lies within your own database. But rule number one in selling, if you can't find a problem, and I'm Barry, you might want to take a picture of this. If you can't find a problem, they don't need you. You've got to find a problem and offer them the solution. You've got to. Rule number two, become their friend before you become their realtor. That's crucial. Friends call friends back. People don't care what you know until they know that you care. Now, this is calling your sphere of influence. I had a coaching student named Sean Kwiatkowski. He's up in Pasco County. Guy's an animal. You know, he does a lot of business. He'll do around 92 transactions this year. And he's going around. I said, Sean, why don't you just touch 5 people a week? Touch 5 people a week in your sphere of influence and database. He did, and he generated 3 listing appointments that week. So when we make this journey, I'm going to be on you like white on rice to help you generate your business. So you make your call. Hello, Bob. Hey, yeah, that's about ABC Realty. Let them respond. Hey, Ed, how you doing? I'm calling to see how you're doing. Everything okay with the family? Let them talk. Let them talk. Yeah, well, the reason I'm calling is to let you know that, you know, I'm expanding my business and I could really use your help. There's a little typo here. I could really use your help. I was calling to see if you know of anyone that's considering buying or selling in the near future. Let them think. Now, what's happened here is they probably haven't heard from you in months. And you inserted into their brain, into their medulla oblongata, your name, an awareness. No. Well, let me ask you a question. Would you be interested in taking advantage of the market? I mean, we got a lot of people from the north moving down here to Florida. What do you mean? Well, if you could sell your home for the right price, you got to use this terminology. I mean, for the right price. Would you be interested? Well, what's the right price? Don't give out the price. Well, let me crunch some numbers up and get back with you. Okay, Bob? This is a great script to call your sphere of influence. Once again, it's the levels of engagement. It's using that track, identify, introduce, ask, reason, and ask again. So I'm giving you a track to become more. Now let's get real together, because I'm not going to change your life in an hour and a half, but I could sure like hell make you aware of what you're doing. And I think that's what I'm doing here. Now, handling objections. So we've gone through attitude. We've gone through different systems of prospecting. I've given you a script to call for sell by owners. I've got a script for expires too. The key with expires is to be able to renew their motivation for selling. You know, this listing appointment I just got, you know, I have this book. It's from a Glorify. It's this book right here, like a couple of bucks. And when I walked in that door, I said, before we even start, let me give you my book, Instant Credibility. So I got him from a 2% commission to a 4% commission. And I got his price down $20,000. Now these guys got a killer pool in the back. Okay, and it qualified for Airbnb, 15 minutes from the beach. So we're gonna get a lot of activity on this. But I handled all of his objections. The definition of objection, and Barry, if you want to make sure that you take a picture of this too, is the real reason they don't feel they should make a decision. If you're working with a buyer or a seller and they don't sign with you, it's because you couldn't change the way they feel. You know, if it wasn't for the Navy, I don't know where I'd be, because I would always use to talk tough, you know, hey, you know, and I worked at a convenience store and I thought, oh, somebody robs the store, I grabbed a gun, I kicked their butt. I don't know how many of you on this call have ever had a gun pointed at you, but it's a humbling feeling. The guy came in, got the gun. I said, look, buddy, calm down. I'm going to give you all the money. And I did. But what's my point? That gun changed the way I felt. Now, I'm not saying you take that on a listing appointment, but you know, if it works, it works. Okay. Your goal is to change their feelings. You've got to change the way they feel, or they're not going to take action. The definition of a condition, that's the real reason they can't make a decision. You know, in the market we're going in right now, I mean, if someone has a credit score of minus 38 and they just got released from prison and violated parole, I'm embellishing this, of course, but that might be a real reason, Gloria, why they can't make a decision. All these should be handled in the investigative stage. You know, one of the things I'm going to help you with is develop a kick-ass listing presentation, because that's the key, is that listing presentation. You know, I'm also going to show you how to make this flyer. What I'm doing with it, because I used this the other day. It's a trifold flyer. It's made in Kartra. Okay, because I went on this appointment. And, you know, like we have a system, and John knows the system because he took sweat hogs. You ring the doorbell, you smile, you pay a compliment, you take them to the kitchen table, you break the ice. You ask them a series of questions. I'm going to give you these 10 questions to ask. If you can't find a problem, man, I'm going to tell you right now, they don't need you. And so then I went around and took a look at the house. I went over pricing with him, but I do something a little different than most people do. I don't use the RPR report because that's kind of misleading. I make a copy of the comps. And I'm going to show you a way of presenting the price, because there's a wholesale price, a retail price, and then there's their price. And then I started with my presentation, and a snake came in the house, a little bitty baby snake. And the guy's an ex-Marine. He's freaking out. He said, I'm listening to you. I'm listening to you. I'm listening to you. So I said, well, this is not going to work. So when he sat down, I took out my little brochure, and I have a 15-point marketing plan. Why 15 points? It's more logical. And I'll help you with Jessica's help you design your listing presentation. Okay, so if I were to stop right now, how many of you picked up a tip or two? Raise your hand. I'll wait. Come on, Barry, you gotta put your hand up. Okay. Okay, I see a hand coming up. Okay. All right, two. All right, just about everybody. Come on, Brian, you can do it. Okay. Now, the definition of a stall. This is a misconception for everybody. The definition of a stall is what the prospect says to hide for whatever reason, the real reason they don't feel they should make a decision. You got to find out what it is. you know, in the first week of our journey, I'm going to teach you these 10 moneymaker words. And one of them is let's pretend. I love that word. Let's pretend. So you get people say, well, you know,
the Metropolitan Museum of Art. This call may be recorded for training purposes. My name is Tanisha. I'm a sushi today.
Okay, well, how long do you need to think about it? Well, give me 2 days. All right, that sounds fair. That sounds fair. Okay. But let's pretend 2 days went by. What were you thinking about? It was your commission. Ah, I should have guessed it. Now you know the real reason. Okay, now you know the real reason, Cindy, of why they're not making a decision right now. Then you have to handle the objection. I want you to think of a stall, okay, as a big light bulb that goes off and makes you squint. You got to find out what it is they want to think over. Not why. Why is it emotion? What it is they want to think over. Okay. Now, the most commonly stall you're going to get is we want to think it over. A licensee, a non-skilled person will just leave. Okay. Yeah, okay. Today, you have to have skill. If you want to get your fair share, you have 2 options. Increase your skill level or put your license as a referral agent. You have to have 2 options. I choose the skill level. Okay. How do you do that? Practice, drill, rehearse, practice, drill, rehearse, practice, drill, rehearse, practice, drill, rehearse. Beginning next Wednesday, we're going to make a journey for 6 weeks. I can't take more than 10 people. Why? Because I'm going to be meeting with you every week. Before we start next week, I want to find out what you're all about, what I can do to help you. I have a neurosis. I hate conflict. You tell me a problem, I'll give you a solution. I went to therapy for a year for that. My therapist even told me, quit coming back. I can't help you. And that's just the way I think. You know, now, this is a track, which we're going to go over in week 4. This track is a systemized track. Well, we think we could sell it on our own. Don't argue with them. Well, I don't think you can. You'll never get anywhere. Well, I can understand that. Number 2 is probe it. The more probing questions you can ask, the faster the objection unravels. All right, well, let me ask you this. I mean, other than Zillow, how are you marketing the home? Well, I got on Zillow holding an open house. All right. What's the definition of your best buyer? Well, that's a stupid question. Someone that buy my house. No, you're not even close. It's the person that'll pay you the most money for your home. And the chances of you finding that best buyer are in direct proportion to the number of people exposed to your property. Am I making sense? Yeah, but I still think I could sell it on my own. All right. Well, let me ask you a question. Knowing that over 92% of all the homes sold in the United States are sold through a realtor, chances are a realtor is going to sell this home, whether you want to accept it or not. Chances are they are. Okay, but let me ask you a question here. This is called a sharp angle close. Is that the only thing stopping you from making a decision is you think you can sell it on your own? Yes. You're one objection away, Cindy, from getting the signature, Victor. You're one away. So Matt, what I recommend is you show them something that's going to change the way they feel. That's why this 15-point marketing plan is so effective. You know, and what we're going to do is we're going to come up with 3 different visuals for every objection known on earth. And I tell you what, there's only 6 or 7 objections. We have a friend in the business. We want you to cut your commission. We think we can sell it on our own. We want a higher price. There's 4. We're going to speak to our attorney first. We don't want to sign in front of our property. I'll give you 3 more. That's 8. Well, if you can't handle 8 objections, I question whether or not you deserve to make the money that you want to make this year. And I bet you for John, for Alex, and for Ron, when they hear a new objection, They probably get excited. Oh, I've never heard that one. I've never heard that one. Let me call the office. Where'd you get that one from? Oh, I've never heard that one. They're all the same. But you have to have a systematic approach to handling the objections. I hope I'm making sense. I think I am. And then you close. That makes all the difference in the world, doesn't it? Well, I never thought about it like that. You've got to change the way they feel. Now, let me give you a couple of closes. Okay. I learned this close from Burrow Workman. All these, I have 25 different closes. You can have access to my website. You're going to get it for free. Or you can pay $19.95 a month, whatever way you want to go, but I wouldn't do that. I have around 25 different closes. They're all from the street. This close here is to get someone to say yes with a no response. Well, if I could get more for your home than you can, is there any reason why we wouldn't get together? The answer is no. So you're going to get them to say yes by saying no. Barry, take another picture of this one. This one's a good one. Okay. You know, when I was teaching sweat hugs, there was a client in Orlando. He would chew up my trainers. So I called him up one time. His name was Ed. I said, Ed, if we can increase the bottom quartile of your company, is there any reason why we wouldn't get together? He said, no. I said, good, I'll be over Friday at 3. He said, wait a minute, ask me that again. I said, if I can improve the bottom quartile of your company, is there a reason why we wouldn't get together? He said, no. I said, I'll be over Friday at 3. Well, I got the appointment. Selling is an art, guys. I hope I'm illustrating that to you today. It's a true art. And Matt, you've got to be well-tuned in your sales skills to get the business today. And I think Sandra would agree with me too, even though she's on the phone. This objection here, this close is called the Ben Franklin close. Now listen, if you don't think you're the right person to sell their home, you probably need to give your license up. You have the confidence to go in there. You know, and how do you analyze it? Well, okay, well, let's do an analysis. Because you think you can sell on your own here? Okay, well, here's a sheet of paper. Here's you, here's me. Okay, so you're going to put a sign out, right? Okay, we're going to put a sign out too. You're going to hold an open house, right? Yeah. Okay, well, any given Saturday, our company's holding around 15 to 20 open houses. So who's going to have a better shot at getting the phone to ring? Well, you are. Well, yeah. I'm not even going to mention who's going to do your website. If those of you that don't have list reports, I recommend you get it. It's free. List reports will generate a website for that listing. And also, if you send the link out, it'll give all the stuff about the area, like where the shopping centers are, where Publix is, where the schools are, all that kind of stuff. It's great. It's free. Okay. This close here is the pin close. It's when the client's had a bad experience with a realtor. I got a lead off of RedX, and his name was Marwan, on Keene Road in Clearwater. A beautiful house right on the lake and everything. And I walked in there, and Marwan, I'm not going to list with a realtor, you know. So we start talking, developed a rapport, you know. I asked him the 10 questions, and I got him to agree, well, listen, my marketing plan's better than what you're doing. He said, well, I had a bad experience with a realtor before. I said, really? So I used his pin close. Barry, take a picture of this one too, man. Okay. I took out a sheet of paper, Cindy, and I said, Marlon, write your name down. I said, write the word sold down. He wrote the sold sign, wrote it on the paper. And I took the same pen and I wrote the word sold down. I said, what do you notice about these two words? He goes, you wrote larger than me. I said, yeah. I said, would you agree it's different handwriting? He goes, yeah, what's your point? I said, that is my point. It's different handwriting, but it came from the same pen. You see, I'm a realtor just like that other person, but I'm as different as those two handwritings on that piece of paper. Boom. I got him to sign. So we went through attitude, different systems for prospecting, different scripts to generate appointments, calling your sphere of influence, different prospecting platforms, free sites that you could generate buyer leads from. I wanted to make sure that this wasn't just a seminar to talk. I wanted to make sure you learned something today. Now, the last thing is why write a business plan? This is probably the most important capital T thing that you got to do right now. Because a lot of people are just floundering right now. Why would you even do something like this? Well, when it's all said and done, you get what you want. You know, John knows me. I've had my ups and downs. We all have. We all have stories that'll make people cry. Get over it. Okay, get over it. Okay. My sister, you know, sometimes I don't know if I'm the bug or the windshield. She always tell me, brother, tomorrow's another day. I tell myself, boy, is she right? Tomorrow's another day. It gives you direction. If you don't have direction going into 2023, you're going to be in big trouble. I mean, big trouble. I'm going to tell you right now, this is a pain in the ankle to do. But it's a necessity today, especially in this market. You know, financial security. I'm the classic salesman. You know, generate money and I spend money. Why? Because I'm a salesman. It's your business foundation. Do you think, I have a guy, one of my coaches in New Jersey, he's getting ready to open up a cannabis company. He sent out the money. I said, where's the business plan? He goes, what do you mean? I said, didn't they send you a business plan? No. I said, oh my God, how are you going to make this thing successful? You don't have a plan. This guy's with EXP. Now, how do you write this plan? First of all, I'd have an impact communication with myself or my spouse. Go off someplace special. Give them a paintbrush. Write down all the things that you want. I have high goals for myself. And then you have to break them down individually to what you're going to do each week. And I'm going to show you how to do that with my website. I'm going to make this journey with you. That's why there can't be more than 10 people. It's got to be a minimum of 5, can't be more than 10. I'm going to make this journey with you. And I'm going to hold you accountable to what you're doing. Oh my God, Ed, it sounds terrible. Well, in this market, we can't leave anything to chance. Your personal and your business budget. I'm going to give you, when we start, because the first week we're going to work on the business plan, and I'm going to be meeting with you individually to help you build the plan. This is one of my strengths. Okay. I'm going to give you a personal budget and a business budget. This is just a condensed version of it. And this is really, I'll tell you what's going to happen. You're going to get depressed because you realize that you spend more money than you thought you spent. Like I have a budget. It's around $10,000 a month. That includes my assistant, Jessica Gear, $25,000 a year. You know, I smoke cigars, which I shouldn't. I'm a retired drinker. I retired around 15 years ago. And when I stopped drinking, I got a call from England because I drank Tanqueray. They wanted to know why their stock dropped 5 5/8. Well, because I quit drinking. So I started smoking cigars. So I spend, I go to cigar bar down the street, John. I spend, I don't know, around $200 a month on cigars. But it's my enjoyment. The last thing I want to do is die healthy. Okay. Then I'm going to give you a personal budget too. And I'll help you with these budgets. I'm going to meet with you one-on-one to help you with this business plan. It's going to take a couple of weeks meeting together to do this. But when we're finished, you're going to have a blueprint of how you're going to do this thing in 2023. And then what we're going to do is we're going to break it down to daily activities. That's the key. So every day, you wake up and you know what you have to do. I'd be scared as heck if I woke up and didn't know what I had to do for the day. There are a lot of people that just waste time. And Ron and Alex, I'm sure you've seen people that come in the office. Well, who didn't put the coffee on? I'm not the first one here. And then they start talking. Did you see the election last night? Oh my gosh, I couldn't believe this. I couldn't believe that. And then they go talk. They've got the computer. Then they start texting. Then they take a non-qualified buyer out or two. Then it's lunchtime. You promise you come with me? Come on, let's go. Then they come back. They go on the internet. They do some texting. They do some busy work. 5 o'clock, it's happy hour. Come on, let's go to steak and ale. Then they go home and tell their spouse, woo, what a day. Woo, woo. If you just knew what I went through today. Well, they didn't work. You know, if you're not willing to work, don't take this journey with me. Because I'm going to help you generate 2 additional transactions in 6 weeks. But you've got to be able to work. Okay, and I'm going to be right there with you. Okay. This is going to be your worksheet. I want you to write out your objectives and then how you're going to do them. You're going to get a car, how are you going to get a car? If you're going to make $100,000, we're going to go to my website and I'll break it down per activity. Because as we meet each week and you're going to put your numbers into this accountability system, we'll be able to generate probabilities. I want to know what works, what doesn't. Like one of my coaching students, she's on Zillow. Well, she hasn't had a Zillow lead, a bona fide Zillow lead in almost 6 weeks. Well, that's not working. So in New York, you could pay an attorney for a referral. So I have her now forming relationships with attorneys. Okay, there's always a solution to the problem. Now, you're going to have your objectives and your plan of actions. Now, how many so far have picked up a tip or two? I know, Barry, you have. Sandra, I know you have too. Okay, picked up a tip or two so far, raise your hand. Okay, I got 2. John, okay, John's a old warlord. Okay, 5, okay, 10, around 10 people. So hopefully my message today is resonating to you guys. There's 12 people. Okay. And John used to be my old broker. I've known him for years. And John, you're the epitome of a salesperson. I can tell you that right now. You really are. And you're one hell of a guy. Okay?
Well, Ed, I appreciate that, but I think everybody knows that you are the ultimate salesman. And I can vouch for you and my friend Ron Syka there that you're the real deal, my friend. And I can't wait to meet with you in person or on Zoom on Friday. Really can't. Again.
Okay. Well, I'm looking forward to the call too. Okay. So, and how's your girlfriend there? She doing good?
Absolutely. She's the best.
Now, you know, I've been divorced. I've been divorced 3 times. So if you decide to get married, let me know. I have a collection of wedding bands I could give you.
Not going to happen, my friend.
Okay. All right. Well, I'll just let you know that right off the bat. Now, you have to have a plan. You got to understand how you're going to do this. How are you going to do this thing? Okay. Now, each objective has to have a plan of action. You know, a year ago, maybe not, because business, you're just tripping over business. Not anymore. Okay, not anymore. Okay. Now, what is this kick-ass training? And I call it the kick-ass training program because people today need a kick in the ass. You know, every so often, I need a kick in the ass. You know, so what is this whole thing all about? Well, it's a 6 weeks intensive training program that starts next Wednesday from 1 to 2:30. Okay, we're going to meet every week. Every call is going to be recorded. There's going to be a lot of role playing in here because I know how to do these meeting rooms now. Okay, I'm going to be available every week for you. I'll take advantage of this. You know, because in my coaching program, I charge $1,000 a month for my coaching program. You're going to get a hell of a deal for this. You will learn how to prospect during this recession. And you know, those of you that are in Florida, I wouldn't be opposed to prospecting with you. You're not going to get too many people that do these seminars that'll do that with you. I guarantee you that. Generate more listings using various platforms and dialogues. I recommend you use RedX or some sort of a platform. No, I have a coaching student that uses this thing called Espresso Agent. Well, I think that's a waste of money. You paid $2,400 for it. It's a waste of money. Okay. You just need to be able to get a list of the for sale by owners and the expires and call them. Expand your referral business. One of the things you're going to get assignments every week. And one of your initial assignments is going to be touch 5 people. I'm going to send you these scripts. I have a script for expired listing too. I have a script for door knocking as well. Master your CRM. Jessica Gear and I are going to help you do more so Jessica than me. Some of you use KV Core. Some of you use Chime. Some of you use MailChimp, which MailChimp is not a CRM. It's a platform to send things out on. It doesn't control the filtering system. You've got to control the filtering system. Okay. Also, create a killer listing presentation for both in-person and Zoom. Will your presentation always go the same? No, but if you know what you're going to do from the beginning to end and they throw you off track, you know how to come back on track. That's the key. And we're going to spend around a week and a half on this. And I'm going to teach you how to sell your market. If you can't sell your marketing products for your company, you're paying a franchise fee or something, you're just wasting your money. You got to be able to sell it. We're going to use a thing called fact, bridge, benefit, tie down, opposite. Handle objections and know what to say and when to say it. All of our calls are going to be recorded. If I were you, I'd save it as a library. Oh, what's the definition of creativity? The ability to hide the source. Okay. Create a business plan and a track to run on. We're going to meet with our once a week group call. And then if you want, I'll meet with you one-on-one. At the beginning, I'm definitely going to meet with you one-on-one to help you with your business plan. And I want to understand more of you so I can help you achieve your goals. It's not going to be one of these hour-and-a-half conference calls that I don't even know who you are. That's not going to work, Martha. Okay, it's just not going to work. And then market on social media platforms. Jessica will be involved in that too. Like I'm getting ready to do, I'm a veteran. So Veterans Day is coming up. I'm going to have a picture of me when I was in Sicily by an airplane. They're going to say, I protected you, your country, and I can protect you in buying or selling a home. Boom. Something that's going to get responses from people. Now we use Kartra. A lot of you use the Facebook page. Well, I don't know how good that is, but Kartra is a great platform. That's how you all came on today, was through Kartra. And they have a free trial basis to it. It's pretty cool. Okay. And then stay accountable. I'm going to be your coach for 6 weeks. Okay. As John said, I've been doing this a long time, real long time. And my goal is to help you improve your results. We're going into a turbulent market right now. And the only ones that are going to survive are the ones that have skill level, can generate prospects, close, and are accountable and have a business plan. That's it. Okay. Now, program details. It's 6 weeks. Starts next Wednesday. By this time already, my assistant, Jessica Gear, has sent you the application. Okay. I recommend you fill it out and you send it in today. I'm going to give you scripts and dialogues. Now, once again, you have to be natural with this. In the old days, I took a course from Tommy Hopkins. He was a big guru back in the day. Alex and Ron know and John know what I'm talking about. And I memorized all about it. Would you, couldn't, and should. I'll call, touch on. Could you please hold for a minute? Then I heard Gunther Klaus. I said, oh man, if I could just be like Gunther Klaus. Then I heard Zig Ziglar. Oh, if I could just be like Zig. Then I realized I couldn't be like any of them, Martha. I had to be at Escobar. And that's what I want you to do. I want you to be yourself, Sandra. Okay. Barry's still with us. I love that background, Barry. Now you got your dress shirt on today, right? Okay, I can see you right there. Okay. We're going to do a lot of role playing. And I don't mind role playing with you between classes as well. Like I said, I'm only going to take 10 students. I can't do more than 10. Okay, I couldn't do it justice. And Barry, I'll walk you and hold your hand all the way through the journey, brother. Okay, but I want to get to know you first. Okay, we have somebody just coming on the call. My gosh, a little late. We're gonna have breakout rooms where we're gonna share. We're gonna work together. You know, all I'm concerned about are the 10 people that take the program, because we're gonna share information together. We're gonna all be connected on WhatsApp. We're gonna share information, different techniques. Every call is gonna be recorded, and I'm gonna send you a summary call every week. Okay. Why? Because the only way to train, Charlie, is through repetition. Repetition, 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 repetition. It's the only way to train. The kick-ass arsenal. You're going to be given a link to an arsenal. And in that arsenal are going to be all the things that you need. It's free. You just click on the arsenal. Printable scripts and dialogues, accountability report, business plan templates. It's all going to be in here. Okay. Now, and then the weekly manual, because every week you're going to get a manual. I recommend you take notes. Okay. Now, I'm going to be your coach and trailer. You have access to me through my calendar. Just book a time and I'll be there. Okay. I won't let you down. I'll be available for troubleshooting too. Now, the only thing I request is don't call me between 7 and 8 because I watch Wheel of Fortune and Jeopardy. Those are my 2 shows. Okay. And I can't even get the reruns, the answers for Wheel of Fortune. So it's a little disheartening. Okay. Accountability. This is probably the biggest thing that's going to be an asset to you, is keeping track of your numbers. And it's a pain in the neck to do it, but you won't regret it, Cindy. I can tell you that right now. Class group chats to share success stories and troubleshooting. Okay. Weekly assignments. If you do the assignments, and I'm going to be doing these assignments myself. Okay, because I'm going to be prospecting on RedX myself. That's where I'm getting this listing appointment coming up this week, and I got another one week after next. I'm going to list this house for $850 in Tarpon Woods. And I'm going to tell you what, John, this thing is like kick-ass house, man. It's got 1,400 square feet of patio space, decking space with a built-in kitchen, and it's on the golf course. Okay, it's going to be coming available in the next 2 weeks. Okay, what's expected of you? Wow, weekly. I would expect you to attend the weekly seminars, to be on time. I'm a time management fanatic. Why? There's only so much time. Number 2, you got to log in each week, prepared and on time. You got to complete your assignments that I give you. The toughest assignment I'm going to give you is prospecting. Keep track of your weekly activities on the template provided to you. And I want you to send that to me. I'm going to review it with you. Send weekly numbers and stats to me the day or before, the day before each session, or or the day before, 2 days before. It doesn't matter. Actively participate in all call sessions. Okay. Prospect regularly and frequently. That's the key. You got to prospect regularly and frequently. I just came from the cigar bar, John. I handed out cards over there. I'm trying to get John, the owner, to list his house in Cobb's Landing. I almost got him to a point where he was thinking about it. And he said, where would I go? I said, the beach. Oh, I'd love to go to the beach. My children all moved out and everything. Got to follow up, follow up, follow up. That's why it's got to go in your pipeline. You used to have 15 people in that pipeline. How much does it cost you? $695. That's a small price to pay. And I know what some of you are saying, oh, Ed, I can't afford $695. You can't afford not to take this, because what's your option? Now, because of Ron's involvement, okay, it's actually $595 for the next 24 hours. It's a hell of a steal. Oh, but Ed, that the holidays are coming up. This is the exact reason why you should do it now. Why to prepare for 2023? Because if you wait till January, you're going to be 2 months behind. Because a lot of people say, well, I'll wait till January to start everything. Well, you're already 2 months behind. Because what you do now is what you're going to book in January. Okay. Program schedule is 2.5 hours. I said an hour and a half, 2.5 hours. It's usually around 2 hours a week. Okay, call on with Ed, 1 hour bi-weekly or weekly if necessary. At the beginning, it's going to be weekly. I want to know. I can't take more than 10, but I have to have at least 5 that sign up. Okay. Let me see a show of hands. How many people are at least interested in this? Raise your hand. Let's see here. Okay, we got 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. And Ron and Alex, I recommend you get with your group and you get a group put into the program. Okay, Charlie even raised his hand. Thanks, Charlie. Okay, I appreciate that. Okay. Now, program begins Wednesday next week. It's going to be around 2 hours. Okay, depending on how much we have to cover for the week. Okay. You must be committed and ready to become a wolf. Going out and looking for the leads. Now, registration form has just been emailed to you. I recommend you fill it out immediately. Okay. Oh, and I can't afford it. Well, you can't afford not to take it. We're talking around $100 a week. Okay, around $100 a week is what we're doing this thing for. Okay, now I'm going to turn the recorder off and see if there's any questions people have to ask me here. Okay, let's see. Hang on a second. I'm going to do this.